Hi everybody, welcome to G for G here on YouTube. Today we are taking a look at Open Beta Patch 37 in Paladins. Just happened to notice it went live today when I went to log in and get my daily stuff. We have a new hero in the game, and we have something really weird. It once again looked like it reset my bindings, because that's the first thing that I did is I went to options and I went to keybinds. But when I went into game, just I went into game with Pip just to make sure I remembered where I like to bind my abilities. They were bound correctly on everything except for reload, and it didn't match what settings said. So the game is really screwed up in that. I thought I had to go reset my binds again, and they were all set except for reload. But every time I go to options, it looks like it's back to the default. I don't understand what they do with that. But we have a new hero in the game, and he is called Sha Lin, the Desert Wind. Sha Lin is a bow caster or a bow shooter similar to Cassie, but a little bit different. He's slower and hits harder. He is unfortunately fairly close to Hanzo in Overwatch, and that could kind of do high res in a little bit. So we all know the controversy that's been happening with Paladins for a little while, that they are claimed to be ripping off of Overwatch. Now, high-res developers have gone out there and said, no, that's not true. As a matter of fact, Overwatch could even potentially be taking stuff from us. And I've defended Paladins because Paladins has been around for a lot longer than people realize. It's just been in a closed beta. A relatively open-ish beta. There were a lot of invites. You could invite friends. Like, so when you got an invite, you could send out a code or two or three or something. Whereas, Overwatch had like the two big weekends when it was in beta, and then it was a very tight ship. It caused a lot of controversy for only going and being put in the hands of like popular streamers. And there's a lot of people that defended the way Blizzard did it, saying it drummed up a tremendous amount of hype. People weren't oversaturated in playing it because you just saw all these streamers with it, and you got jealous, and you were frothy, and you were like, I want to play this already. And you gobbled up their weekends, their 2-3 days max when you could, and then you were back to being jealous and waiting again. So Paladins has been around just as long. I mean, here we are, and it's only been a few months since people have actively been able to play it. And as you can see, we're on Open Beta Patch 37. That's not 37 Open Beta patches. That's 37 patches from the beginning of the game. Part of these have been closed, and now the last 3 or 4 have been considered open. I think CB32 might have been the last of the closed beta. So now that it's on Steam, it is exposed to the world, and people know about it. And we've discussed on the channel before how it fits in with Battleborn and Overwatch and Gigantic and Paragon, everything like that. I've been able to defend Paladins, and Total Biscuits said the same, because the characters have been pretty different. There are some that share elements of Overwatch characters and other champion shooters, hero shooters, and everything. But then Sha Lin comes along, and at least his standard fire is very Hanzo-ish. But the rest of his skill set is unlike anything that Overwatch has, and it's more closely to what other Paladins characters have. So, his left click is a longbow, and it says releases it up for 110. I found in the training range that it was only doing 1,000. It says 1,100, but I've only seen it get up to 1,000. The secondary fire replaces the arrow with an impaler arrow that I do believe does the same amount of damage. It knocks them back, and it stuns them if they get hit into a wall. This whole replacement of the lead arrow or the left-click arrow, again, very Hanzo-ish. Different kind of alternate arrow than Hanzo has, as compared to the bouncy shatter arrow and the let's see what's going on arrow. These are different, but it's conceptually the same. And then we get into, and the fact that he's Asian. That also kind of hurts them a little bit. Ability planted. This is kind of like becoming a rapid fire turret. Interesting, but it has a downside because you're planted. His movement ability is withdraw. It's sky-ish. He puffs backwards and leaves a clone of himself where he was that just sits there. It's not an active clone, so there's a character in Gigantic that is a bowcaster. It's kind of a bipedal goat to a certain degree. The name escapes me at the moment, but I use him a lot. He drops like healing puddles, he drops toxic puddles, but he also has this decoy mechanic, and it plants like right where he was. And it's an identical clone, and it shoots. I don't remember if it does damage, but at least mimics being an active thing. This one just kind of sits there. I don't know if it takes damage. I don't know if it causes hit sounds or what. And then his ultimate is Heat Haze. He enters stealth, gains a whole bunch of movement speed for 8 seconds. While active, you draw your bow faster and leave behind a mirage every time you fire. So, let's jump into the practice range, and you can see how he is and compare him to, say, Cassie, the game's existing caster, bowcaster. Alright, so it loads me in with Victor, which I always change. So the first thing we'll do is I will pick my Cassie. Okay, now as you can hear an enemy bot Cassie firing over there, and you can hear how rapid it is. So here's Cassie. See, I'm just holding the mouse button down, and she's shooting like this automatically until she reloads. She's doing 700 a clip, and as you can see, I'm not getting like any headshot bonuses or anything. Killing spree. That is one of her arrows. That's the knockback arrow that has a healing component. If I dodge and then land my shot, I actually go up to 910, but I'm gonna have to wait for that. So here's the right click arrow. 200 points of damage, knocks, wow, it knocked her into stealth. So here's her dodge roll. Now if I land the shot, she's immune because she's spawning. It does 910. And then her ultimate, of course,
target locked,
is the vision. See, 910. So Cassie, she may have the DPS over the new guy due to speed, but each shot hits a little bit lower. And a reload is pretty fast. Okay. So that's the existing one. And now let's go over to Sha Lin. Haven't designed a card loadout for him yet. So here are the basic bots. A full-on hold. See, it's only doing 1,000. I mean, this is clearly over a second and a half. 1,000. He 3-shots Ying, and he 2-shot Sky. As for Fernando, that's going to take about an hour and a half. And you can see how long it takes to get up to full power. So now, if he fires at Cassie's rate, he's coming in under Cassie for each shot. So, to get a better representation of that, we'll go over here to the Cassies. There's an idea of her timing.
Unstoppable.
And of course, he needs no reload. I mean, with Cassie, he slices her up pretty quick.
Savage.
However, speed, if Cassie and Sha were each shooting at Fernando, I think Cassie would win. So, let's take a look at some of his other abilities over here. The right click changes the arrow, and as you can see, the cursor changes, which is very Hanzo-ish. Knockback and a stun. There you go. One of his abilities is that. Now, you can turn during this. And we'll wait for it to cool here, and I'll show you what that is. Actually, I didn't check out his hit points compared to Cassie's. I think he's going to be a little bit higher. But, alright, so here's the turret mode. And as you can see, much like Hanzo, if he just spams it, he's got no chance.
That's 13 in a row. Double kill.
Okay, so that's one of his abilities. There's the clone, and as you can see, the clone just sits there.
An enemy is unstoppable. Annihilation.
It might be good for a freak out that if you, like, come out of a bush, or just do that, and just try to bait people out, and see if somebody starts shooting it. Like, you're coming around this blind corner, you don't know what's here. You drop the clone, see if somebody shoots it. But
An enemy is savage.
no, wasn't close enough. Get off my Fernando. Alright, let's drop another clone right when she reloads here. Well. Wow, goes right through him. Not even sounding like it's causing a hit sound or anything, so... Unlike Ying, I don't think anybody's gonna be fooled by that. So here's his ultimate. And there's all the clones I'm leaving behind.
Double kill. Double kill.
And the hitbox is a little bit forgiving. So I'm aiming at Cassie's health bar, and I'm still hitting her. Same thing over here. I'm gonna aim at Ying's health bar. So, a Sha Lin would be able to two-shot another Sha Lin. If I'm doing 1,000 a pop, it kills Sky, so Sky's either 2,000 or under, whereas Ying clearly has over 2,000. Again, not too sure where the 100 points of discrepancy is over here. So let's see.
Your sight fails you.
Enemy rampage. Double kill.
Alright can get a pretty good amount of clones out there, but if they're just going to stand there, I'm not exactly too sure what the point is. You're clearly going to be looking for the Sha Lin that's moving around and actually doing damage to you.
An enemy is unstoppable.
The good thing is he has no reload. Well, my jump and reload are different. I have to rebuy my jump too. That bind is still in place.
An enemy is savage.
Let's see what his range is.
They're getting frisky.
You have found an honorable death.
He's got some range. Wow. That's a far target.
Enemies are firing.
An enemy is immortal.
A good vantage point.
Yeah, even turret mode goes all the way too.
Your sight fails you.
Double kill.
I think maybe if he just backs up and moves slightly and leaves the clones as kind of a distraction wall in front of himself, that might actually work out. But in quarters like this, where if I was just shooting like this and then just left a clone and was moving around like this and my clone is standing still, it's not going to do anything.
Your sight fails you.
But if I were to do this and kind of hide behind the clones a little bit, if people don't realize they can just shoot through the clones, it might be handy. Or perhaps like clone, dive in a bush. That should have done. So, he's fun. I probably would say that I would still favor Cassie. Cassie's got good mobility. I mean, the roll out. It can also be used as a roll in. The other thing that happens with Cassie is that she's got a card to do extra damage if she lands her first shot after a roll, which also could be pretty handy. Leads to good offensive rolling. So, let's see what he has for kits. He's got a blue headband, purple and a green. He doesn't seem to have a full body, full outfit. Purple, green, and blue. Probably saying, bow. Nothing too fancy here, just kind of changing the color. Nothing seems particularly epic. Interesting emote. Okay.
Yes.
Retreat.
I wonder if they're doing Overwatch and Heroes of the Storm things now with that. So there's his skills in long form, longbow, impaler arrow, withdraw, planted, heat haze. I think the best usage of withdraw is going to be around corners or into bushes. Maybe set up anti-trap clones where you get close to an edge and throw a clone in sight and see what attacks you. Planted could be good. Kind of a long cooldown, but if you get on the back line and you flank with a planted, you might be able to do some pretty serious damage. And let's see if we can figure out what his cards are like. gain 10% movement speed after planted ends. Well, that sounds decent. A good way to counter the fact that you've been stuck. Regenerate 50 health. I probably would pick that more. Reduce the cooldown of planted by a second. Gain 3% reduction. Prevention or maintenance? This might be too tempting to use it just to regenerate health, whereas this just folds into the cooldown a little bit more appropriately. I don't know. It would be tough. Tough call on that one. Quicksand, increase the recharge rate of impaler arrow by 5%. Gain 10% movement speed after hitting impaler arrow. Impaler arrows reveal enemies for 1 second. Yeah, that might be cool. I think I would stay with that one. Heal for 50 would strike. I like these. Cassie's got one like that. I probably would go with that. Heal for 50 when striking an enemy with impaler arrow. Reduce the cooldown and withdraw. So he has a lot of cooldown reduction ones. He's got a lot of heal ones. And he's got a lot of speed ones. After using withdraw, gain 10% movement speed for 3 seconds. Wow, none of these are very different from each other. They all thematically are just the same. Reduce all active cooldowns by 10% when getting an elimination. That sounds pretty good. Crowd control reduction, gain 50 health, gain 5% movement speed. I think... You know what? I think I would go... No. Get back here. That. Plenty of gold to unlock stuff. So I would do Wind Wall. I would do Strike True, kind of like Cassie. Reduce the cooldown after withdrawal. I like the movement speed there on that one. That might really mess people up if it's bumped up. And this one. Okay, so that. Reduce all active cooldowns. Now, I still have the one free one, so I could actually still go with something else. Which would be the best? Gain 10% movement speed, increase the recharge rate, 10% movement speed after... Because I couldn't quite decide which one of these two I like. That looks like Gamora. We'll go with that one. Okay, so, let's bump you up. Wait a minute. It will, oh, it won't let me... Yeah, that's right. It doesn't let you do two... No? It's letting me do... There it goes. Okay. I must have misclicked. Alright, so... Let's knock everything back down here. Impaler arrows reveal... Okay. Like the movement speed, like that. Reduce all active cooldowns by 20%. Impaler arrows for 2. That seems pretty cool. New loadout. I like it. Impaler arrows reveal for 2 seconds. That maybe could go up to 3. But I like the regenerating and damage reduction. That's pretty tanky. Really kind of knocks down him being locked in place there. Reduce all active cooldowns, and after using withdraw, yeah. Get out of jail card.
Sha Lin.
What is Desert Breeze? Oh, the MVP post. So now there is a new chest in the game that unlocks a lot of rare items, and it costs 75 crystals a pop. which means in real life currency translated, it would be one of those chests comes in clearly under $5. It's not too bad. About $2, $2.25 in value to open up one of these chests. And as you can see, from having the game for such a long time, I already have a few of the items from it. The Raider set on Pip. So there is Sha Lin, the new hero for Paladins in Open Beta Patch 37. Still really like... So I've had the Founders Pack for a while. That's why all these heroes are coming in free for me. I wouldn't have ever gone for the legendary one. $40 was... that would be a little too much for a game like this. This one was under 20, which was pretty cool. But I do admit, for Cassie, I really do like... I do like that whole set. Let's see, is it going to be here? Yeah, the Vampire Slayer set. I like that set. It's a little bit Vala from the Blizzard universe, and a whole lot, a very Van Helsing look to her. Not the Van Helsing show that's on Sci-Fi, but just, if I were to glance at that, I would say, oh, that's chick going for like a Van Helsing look, a very Vampire Slayer kind of thing, which is the name of the outfit. I like that one. And this is what my heroes are at. Pip and Cassie are still in my lead. Sky a little bit behind. I haven't used Grok in a long time. I used him a lot in the beginning. And I don't think I've used Ying since she went over to support. And they're calling Sha Lin damage. Could be decent as a flank though, especially with stealth. So, thanks for checking out Open Beta Patch 37 here for Paladins on G4G. Have a good one, everybody.